Hi, I'm James Varney, and you might not know it from our naked microphone today, but I'm with my colleague Jim Kleinpeter, and the two of us write about LSU football for the Times-Picayune. We're here talking about the Tigers getting ready for the game against South Carolina Saturday in Columbia. And coming off a severe pasting at Florida, which is something that hasn't happened at LSU in 6 years, and really never under head coach Les Miles' tenure here. How do you think they'll respond from that, given that Miles hasn't had to do it here?
I don't know. It will be very interesting to see it because he's also called out some of his players and said this is the first time I've seen Les Miles talk about players, and especially veterans, not playing up to their capabilities. And I guess that's what and when that happens, that you end up with a blowout game like this. And we're on new territory. It will be interesting to see how Les works this and how the players respond, because they're going against a guy who knows how to pick apart a secondary. Steve Spurrier knows how to get the matchups he wants, and the LSU pass defense is going to have to respond this week.
LSU South Carolina isn't one of these sort of game for the ages traditionally. It's only the 19th time that the two teams have met, and South Carolina's only beaten LSU twice. But South Carolina is an unfamiliar place. It's a kind of place that I think at the beginning of the season LSU probably looked at it sandwiched between Florida and Georgia as a trap game. But given that they don't have any experience heading, or very little experience heading there, what can they expect out of Columbia, the scene and all there?
Well, they have a pretty rabid fan following. The team, the program just really hasn't delivered based on what the fans do, because the fans show up every year, 80,000 strong, and it'll be a hostile environment. It won't be like the Swamp probably, but I think they're pretty familiar with this team. The coaches will be, and the players will be, because they saw a lot of them last year, and they're a solid defensive team. Last year they had some injuries, and still they kept the game close against LSU. So this isn't a game that you can't overlook this game by any stretch.
Yeah, South Carolina's actually ranked number one in the Southeastern Conference in total defense, which I think probably comes as a surprise to most people who look at the LSUs and the Auburns and the Alabamas, maybe even Tennessee's traditionally as your big defenses there. But going into a game against a Steve Spurrier team, I think people always are talking about quarterbacks. Spurrier has always been a quarterbacks guy. And despite his promises during the SEC media days in July that Chris Smelley was the starter and would have a long leash, that they weren't about to yank him, they were going to give him a chance, he has, in fact, quickly yanked him. And they've gone back and forth with him and Garcia. Garcia gets the nod this Saturday. What do you think that's going to mean?
Well, actually, Tommy Beecher was the guy that he had picked, and he had such a horrible first game that they went to Smelley, and then Smelley's been on and off, and now they've gone to Garcia. I think it's something else Spurrier's been noted for is a quick hook on his quarterback. So we may see Smelley and Garcia. If Garcia doesn't play well, he'll be out of there.
Right, and obviously LSU's going to look for better play from its quarterback position, which is also inexperienced. Jarrett Lee, the redshirt freshman, went through another trial by fire in the Swamp. Probably didn't come out of this one smelling quite as rosily as he did coming out of Auburn. But anyway, that's what the Tigers face, going on the road for a second consecutive week, with Georgia coming here the following week, and Jim and I will be back to discuss that next week.